Well, we're here at the Yak Gear workbench, and it's time for the rigs and techniques. And Dave, we're frogging, hopping into it.
Yeah, we got to go fast because I got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Okay.
We're going to start with the rod and reel combo that you kind of want to have. You want a really stiff, medium, heavy, heavy, stout rod because you're going to be throwing that frog into cover. And this is a really stout rod. This is the Fenwick Elite Bass Fishing Rod, that 3/8 to a 1 ounce, 7-footer. So you should be able to pull them out of anything with that rod. A lot of guys like to use 60-pound braid. I'm not that.
You ain't feeling it?
I don't like that heavy stuff. It's not real sporting. I know that it's supposed to be a little bit of sport fishing involved. And if you can't get him out of there with 30-pound braid, I don't know if he's meant to be caught. 30-pound Pro Spec Chrome braid is gonna get him out, and I use a 30-pound or 20-pound monofilament leader attached with an F&G knot. And an F&G knot's not gonna break. You can pull the eye out of a plug before you'll break that F&G knot if you tie it correctly.
Correct.
Now we want to use big, heavy wire hooks,
right? Again,
because we're pulling big fish out of cover. The Trocar Magworm and the TK125 or the TK125-aught are good hooks. The laser sharp heavy wire EWGs, the LPA 098G 3.0 or 4.0 or the 5.0, they all work. And the Trocar swim bait. If you're wanting to swim that frog, if you've want to throw it a long way, you can use that TK177-aught. And
right.
It's a great big hook that's going to find its mark, and that's what we really want.
Got it.
You want a reel that's got a good fast gear ratio on it, like that Abu Garcia.
Yes.
Abu Garcia. I don't know why I couldn't say it.
It's a
Revo, and it's got a 7 to 1, 8 to 1 gear ratio. Because a lot of times instead of just popping the frog, you're going to be wanting to swim it really fast, and some of these frogs are meant for that.
So it's gurgling.
Correct.
The little legs. Blah, 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 blah.
Some of those frogs down there are made to be
like
moving and swimming. Correct. And we're in the best time to fish for them is going to be probably in the morning and night. But if you're in a place where there's a lot of heavy grass on the top, you can get a frog bite at any time of day. And especially if it's cloudy. If you have a cloudy day, it's a good time to throw a frog if it's not bright sun. Although I've gotten frog bites at 12 noon, with a bright sun. So you just never know. There's several different kinds of frogs. You've got 2 different ones there. That's a hollow body floating frog.
Right.
That one's meant to be worked through the lily pads, heavy surface cover type stuff because it floats up high. The one in your other hand is a logger toad. It's a solid body frog. That's one of those frogs that you want to keep moving. It's mounted on a swim bait, a Bass Assassin swim hook as well.
And the other thing you can do if you want to get more action out of the legs, I break the tail off.
You can take the tail off.
Because it gurgles even a little bit more.
Right. And you can fish that one not only on the surface, but, you think frog fishing is only top water. You can fish that frog deep, too. A lot of the solid body frogs, you can fish a little bit deeper. That Savage Gear Tough Toad is a solid body frog. And the good thing about a solid body frog is it won't fill up with water on you, and you have to keep squeezing the water out of it every 4 or 5 casts, or every other cast, because once they get chewed up a little bit, they start to get where they'll, start taking on water. And,
right.
And then there's a frog there. It's a pretty unique one, the one with the little paddles on it.
Oh yeah.
That's a frog that to be used kind of like a spinner bait. Along the edge of a hydrilla mat. Just like a buzz bait almost. Yeah. You just cruise that
Gurgling
thing.
legs.
Yeah, and the good thing about most of these frogs is, with the upward pointing hooks, they're relatively weedless, unless you're throwing it in some really, really, dense hydrilla.
That's kind of cool the way they do that trailer hook.
Yeah, that is a pretty neat little frog. But I collect frogs more than I throw them. Probably I throw a lot of frogs, but I collect every one that I see. A popping frog is a good frog to use if you're in open water. Sometimes you can get frog bites in open water. If fish are busting on shad, you can throw a popping frog into a big pile of bass busting on shad and catch them because it pops.
Yeah.
Pop, 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 just like any other hard bait. So a popping frog, especially on windy days, a popping frog makes enough commotion on the surface to get a bite as well.
You did good.
It went fast.
You went fast. Did you get through it all, Dave?
I believe so.
That was a lot of information, a lot of good stuff.